Welcome to Kingdom Explained, where we talk about everything that is Kingdom. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell so you can be notified for more content on this channel. On this video, I will be doing an overview on the character known as Keisha, a general of Quinn. The character is based off a real person named Kenji. There will be information that could spoil the manga and the anime, so you have been warned. I could only find 2 entries from Shiji, aristocratic family of Zhao, about him. Here they are. In the 10th year of King Cao Chang of Zhao, 256 BC, Yan attacked Chang Zong and captured it in May. General Yu Chang, or as he is known in the manga, Gakujo, and Qing Shi attacked the Quinn army at Xinlang and scored a victory. In the 5th year of King Dao Shang of Zhao, 240 BC, General Fu Di, or Fu Tai as he is known in Kingdom, defends and stays in Pingyi. General Qing Shi commands the forces at Dongyang River and defends Heiliang. As you guys can see from his picture, he looks like a girl, and the author made close to no effort in clarifying his gender. Historically, we can safely assume he is a male, as female generals almost do not exist in ancient Chinese history. There are some exceptions in the past, for example, Kai Ren. We can also deduce his age to be at least in the 50s at the point of the coalition invasion, as he did become a general at least 15 years prior to the invasion, which also means he is from the same generation as the 6 great generals and 3 great heavens. Now let's get into the character from Kingdom. Keisha was an instinctual general and Riboku's vassal. During King Tojo's reign, he was considered one of the most important commanders of the Zhao military. He was known under the moniker, the Silent Hunter. Keisha was a clean-shaven man whose long black hair ends in 2 spears with a chessboard pattern, which could be a tribal style in Zhao. He wears an armor under his robe. Keisha had good manners, as seen in his speech and actions. He seemed to enjoy watching his opponents being torn apart by his elaborate traps. However, he will become irritated if the opponent is not lured by the trap and doesn't reveal their characteristics and method of warfare, even to the extent of provoking him to enter the battlefield. As Riboku described, his impatience is his weakness, which leads to his death. He was aiming for the last free seat of Zhao's 3 great heavens. When Keisha was young, his village was attacked by bandits, and they killed his parents in front of him. After that, he worked and lived in an old weapons shop while winning money from strategy tournaments. One day, he defeated one of Riboku's students, and Riboku, noticing his talent, took him in. A trusted subordinate and vassal of Riboku, Keisha is a peculiar, instinctive general that was said to be the closest to taking the final seat of the 3 great heavens. At the time of his death, he was considered one of the 5 most important figureheads in the Zhao military. Before facing Duke Hoi, Riboku even considered Keisha the most terrifying instinctual general. He served as the commander of the Zhao army during the coalition invasion, indicating his military capabilities. Keisha proved himself to be a talented warrior and frontline general. He was able to lead the charge of his elite army in order to pincer Haishin unit, which led to the death of many of its soldiers. It was suggested that this move would completely wipe them out, if not for Zeno's counterattack. Later, he was a challenge for Shin in their brief duel, showing surprising strength and precision when wielding his sword. However, he wasn't good enough to defeat the young commander, and their clash ultimately ended in Keisha's death. Keisha was noted to be a great leader who was even able to gain the loyalty of a lone wolf like Gakue. With simple words of praise, he could inspire his men to endure the most brutal of battlefields. After his death, the remnants of his army would go berserk in order to avenge their master, which indicates the strong connection he had with his soldiers. With a high attribute of tactical knowledge, he was likened to a spider who weaves a web of fluid strategy to entangle and ensnare his opponents. His instinctive skills allowed him to defeat in simulation battles many strategists, including Roboku himself, at few occasions. Roboku later commented that even for him, defeating Keisha in a live battle would not be an easy task. To date, Keisha was the instinctual general with the highest attribute in the knowledge of war besides Rinpa. That in itself does not count for the strength of his own intuition. Duke Hoi remarked that despite the kinds of precarious situations he puts himself in or the strength of his offense, Keisha proved to be an elusive opponent. During the Battle of Kankoku Pass, he was able to effectively lead Duke Hoi into a trap and strike the rear of his army, nearly defeating him. On the first day of the Battle of Kokuyo Hill, he decided to send his soldiers to the center hill as bait. After that, he launched a flanking attack on the second unit in order to completely cut off Raido's reinforcements. This enabled him to isolate Raido and Zeno's units and forced them to retreat, something that was even outside of Kanki's calculations. Later, he was even able to figure out Kanki's weakness. However, due to his death at the hands of Shin, he wasn't able to use this information in battle. The Silent Hunter was said to be the type that is impossible to best unless you manage to lure him out of the web he hides in. When Quen devised a plan to use Duke Hoi as a bait in order to lure out and pincer him with the Haishin unit, he quickly realized their intentions and swiftly beat a retreat. However, few years later, Kanki was able to successfully make Keisha leave his web, which turned out to be his downfall. That is all for the overview. Comment your thoughts below on the video and make sure to support the channel by hitting the like button and the bell so you can be notified for future videos.